Hey everyone, welcome back to Cody Tarot. I'm your tarot reader, Cody. So for today's pick a card, we are going to be doing what you don't see coming. So I already filmed the readings. I was going to do 4 piles, but I got tired after the 3rd pile, so I decided to do 3 today. But we got a lot of great messages. And yeah, we'll see what is coming for you that you don't see coming. So let's get into the group selection. I'm going to show you the crystals one by one. Then I'll give you a moment where you can pause the video and select your crystal if you need to. Or if you already know your crystal, feel free to go to the timestamps in the comment section or the description box to scroll to the part of your reading that is for you. So let's get into the crystals. We have the first crystal is Sunstone. That's group 1. Group 2 is green Jade. Group 3 is silver Moonstone. So with that, take all the time you need to pick your crystal. You can pause the video here if you need to. All right, and with that said, we're going to get on with group number 1, the Sunstone. Hey, group 1, this is if you picked the Sunstone crystal. So, good choice. Very warm, kind of feel-good vibes with the Sunstone. Okay, so let's get into your reading. So first I'm going to draw a Oracle of the 7 Energies card for you guys. This deck is by Colette Baron Reed. I'm going to draw right from the middle of the deck, and we have Great Big Love. Interesting. And I'm also going to draw some tarot cards. This is the original Rider-Waite-Smith deck, or that kind of vibe. The colors are different, I think, but it's basically the same illustrations as the original. So we'll be doing that today. Hope everyone's doing well. Let's see. Let's get some cards out here on the table. Let's draw one more. And I also want to draw 2 playing, or actually, let's do 1 playing card to get the gist, or I'm going to supplement the energy of the main Oracle card. Oh, we have 2 of clubs. Wow. Then I'm also going to roll the Astro Dice to see what general area this blessing's in. Let's put these cards. Let's put this right here. There we go. And we have Mars energy, Virgo, and the 10th house. Let's flip over your cards and see what you got. We have the World card. Wow. The Strength card. We have the Knight of Wands. We have the Hangman. And we have the 6 of Cups. And figure out how I want to organize this. Okay. Let's get into your reading. Okay, you guys have a few things that are coming into your life that you don't see coming, but the main one that the cards want to urge you to push you towards is this great big love, and we have it with the 2 of clubs right here. This usually talks about, well, in this specific situation, it's talking about self-love, but it's also talking about meeting someone at the same time. So 2 of clubs is kind of like a relationship card. It's a 2. You have, 2 is 1 and 2, and it creates a relationship. There's 2 components to it. So it's a dynamic between two people or two, and with clubs here, it represents thoughts and opinions and stuff like that. So it can represent like two of clubs can represent fear sometimes. But what I'm seeing mainly is that this two is representing relationships, and it's coming out with great big love, meaning that you have a great big love coming to you, but the only thing getting in your way is your own thoughts, fears, and worries and concerns is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. Like this thing that you don't see coming is just like gonna be dropped on your doorstep, but it's like there's almost like you have to worry about fears holding you back is kind of what I'm seeing. You guys have a few blessings coming in, to be honest. With the World card, I do feel you're coming towards this sense of completion in something that you've been working towards. And with great big love, this could be just your issues in relationships, or maybe if you've already been working on your own shadow side in relationships, almost like what you provide in a relationship or what you bring to a relationship, and like how you're trying to work on that to make yourself a better person, or if you're worried about how someone else is treating you in a relationship and you're trying to be not just you guys being the better person for someone else, but like how is the other person going to show up for you? What do you expect from the other person, and how are they going to show up in your life, basically? So with great big love here, I see that you do have a love coming in that is going to be beyond expectations. With the World card here, I feel like this is someone who's going to be in your life for a very long time. This could also be someone, just because the World's here, that could be someone that you meet overseas or like online, or someone who's not from where you live. But yeah, for the most part, I see this as like a form of completion. In the World card, we have Leo, Taurus, I think this is Aquarius and Scorpio. And these are all the fixed signs in the zodiac. So this is something that's going to stay put. This is something that's long lasting. This is something that's durable. And with great big love, you have this love coming in and you don't see it coming. It's almost like with the two of clubs here, you've almost given up on relationships, or you're worried that your fear is going to get the better of you in relationships or something like that. But because you've been working on it, this is coming into your life. I also see with the Strength card here, you're going to be stronger in the future. And this is something else that's coming in that you guys don't see coming. It's like you're worried you're going to be too weak or something like that in the future. There's something about a fear of the Two of Clubs talks about fear. That's why I keep bringing up fear and stuff like this in this reading. But there is a fear of almost like being weak or not strong enough to handle certain things that life's throwing at you. But this card is saying that you're going to gain a certain amount of strength through this connection, through this great big love, through this person coming in. They're going to provide you with a lot of endurance, like the ability to handle a lot in life and not be fazed by it as much. This person coming in could be a Virgo. That's a possibility. But other than that, like I'm just seeing this person coming in. They could have Virgo placements too, but there's something about like a perfectionistic streak to this person. Like this person has this idea of wanting to do everything very detailed and very meticulously, like to the point where everything they craft is perfect, is kind of the vibe that I'm getting, or everything that they do is kind of has this aura of perfection around it. So this is someone who's very professional. They really take their time in everything they do and craft what they do very perfectly. And how do I put this? This person coming in is also very rooted. That's coming through right now, that they're rooted or they're earthy. But also they do have kind of a perfectionistic streak to them and kind of what they craft and what they create. With the Knight of Wands here and also with the Mars energy here, I think this is going to be a deeply sexual connection. I think you guys are going to have a lot of passionate lovemaking in your future. And that's something else you don't see coming. It's like, whoa, I didn't expect to have this kind of like lusty kind of connection with someone. It's something that I think is going to blow your mind a little bit, because I think you're going to be really compatible with this person in a way that is not only going to like stimulate you or arouse you, but it's going to fulfill you on like a soul level is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. There's also something about this person getting you to see your childhood in a new light, in a new way. So this person might come into your life and point out some things about your childhood and say, like, if you like talk to them about what's going on in your childhood or something like that. An example that's coming to mind right now is trauma, but it doesn't have to be. It could be anything in childhood. They could point out a different perspective on your childhood that you didn't really realize. So maybe you thought you were really poor growing up or something like that. Or maybe you thought you like didn't have a lot of money, and this card, the Hangman's kind of saying that they point out all these things in your life where you actually had all this abundance in your life, where you had all these things that actually made you feel good in your life. And they point out how different things are represented in different ways in your childhood, basically. I'm trying to think of other examples that we could use for this. A trauma example would be maybe you were like hurt as a child, or maybe like you were bullied or something like that. This is kind of like this person saying that, like, well, if it wasn't for this bullying kind of thing, like maybe today you wouldn't be like such an advocate against bullying, or maybe you wouldn't have helped so many people if you didn't experience this kind of pain in your past. So I do see with the Hangman here, they are pointing out aspects in your childhood that can be looked at in a new light, looked at in a fresh perspective or a new perspective. Another thing that I am seeing too is this person, the more passion you have with them and the more sexual chemistry you have with them, it's like the more, how do I put this? You see things in a new way. It's not only that they're like sharing this new perspective with you through like their words and their actions, and kind of like how they show you something could be different, or how you guys do that in conversation. Although with the Two of Clubs here representing conversation, I can see that as like a big component in this connection. But with the Knight of Wands here, it is through intimacy and physicality and lovemaking that this is kind of, this vibe's going to come into play. You're going to kind of get with great big love here, and with the Knight of Wands, it's like there is this aura of like with the great big love, I'm looking at all the blue in this card, and that does also make me think of communication, so that is important. But there is this aura of like freshness or cleansing, where like their sex actually cleanses you and makes you feel purified or fresh or renewed or something like that. Another thing too that's coming through with the 10th house here, I think simultaneously there's a few things happening here. So a lot of the stuff that they're helping you with your childhood, specifically with looking at things in a new light, it's going to make you two things with your career and your reputation. It's going to create this vibe about your career where you don't care as much. Like you're not going to care as much how people perceive you in your career, or how you're like, how people, like if people are judging you, you're not going to care so much what people think as far as like your reputation goes. And then at the same time, they're also going to enhance your reputation by like giving you this kind of sense of perspective. There's some tarot readers who feel the Hangman is like Neptune energy. So I do feel this is going to kind of create kind of like an illusionary force field around you that kind of like makes people see you in a new light, okay, based on like how you're connecting with this person. So this really does feel very like soulmate-y vibes. Like this feels like someone who's meant to come into your life. And especially since we have the World and the Strength card here, I feel like this person's going to make you feel stronger. They're going to fortify you. Because of the fixed nature of all the signs in the World card, I do see that this is something that's kind of long lasting. This is something that you're like protected you're protected from the world. It's like you can be vulnerable, but at the same time protected. So that's kind of coming in. That's something you don't see coming. So I feel like a lot of you guys with the Two of Clubs here, Two of Clubs can be people who get into relationships and they don't actually feel like, I'm not saying you guys don't feel connected to your partners or the people you've been in relationships with, but you may have realized that in some of your relationships in the past, there are just people who kind of just walked into your life and the relationship just kind of started, but it wasn't anything that was, how do I put this? It's almost like you guys are going to realize that you've never truly been in love with when this person comes into your life. Like this is that kind of love that shakes the foundation of like how you perceive love in general. So if you guys feel like you've been in love before, I think this person's going to show you a new way of loving yourself and being in love with them. That's going to like change the vibe of how you view love as like an entity, right? Like you guys are going to view love songs differently. With this Hangman energy here, this is all about like looking at things from a different angle and seeing and being enlightened because of that different change in perspective. So I definitely think that you guys are going to have this vibe of like, whoa, I'm seeing love songs differently. I'm seeing like other people's relationships differently. Like I'm understanding why people are getting together. I understand why people are like, why this person's with this person and vice versa. It's kind of like you see love as a bigger entity, but at the same time, you see it very differently. I'm trying to see if I see anything else. I want to kind of pull a love story oracle card if I can find that deck, because I want to see like how you guys meet this person. So one thing that just came through while I was getting the deck, with the 10 dice here, you could actually meet this person through your career or through someone, like with reputation, it could be through someone you know. Similar almost to like an 11th house vibe, like through a friend or through an organization or something. But with the 10th house here, I feel like this person has seen you or they've appreciated you from afar and they know about you is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. But let me look at the love story oracle love story oracle cards to see if this person coming in, like what their deal is. How do they meet group 1? How is this person going to meet you? And we have strings. Interesting. Okay, so strings just shows me that strings just shows me this person's going to come in once you cut ties to relationships that don't serve you anymore. There's a relationship in your life right now where either you are playing the puppet or the puppeteer. And that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting, where you guys are either in a relationship where you are kind of subtly manipulating someone else. And this doesn't have to be consciously. It just could feel like this person kind of follows everything you say and do. It's like no matter what you say or do, this person is like following your lead, or they're kind of constantly always just doing what you're saying without questioning it or anything like that. That could be the one case. And for others of you, it's because you guys are in a relationship where you're just following someone blindly and maybe you're building up a little bit of resentment about it. And you're kind of being like, man, why do they always pull the strings? Or why are they always like pulling on my heartstrings or something like that? Or why do I feel like I have to always follow them around? Like I feel like they just kind of control me. So that's kind of the vibe. And it's not really like control. It's just that there's like this, with these strings hanging and this like hand outstretched with these strings broken, I see that these two hands are releasing each other. Another color that I'm seeing here is red and yellow. So working with your root and solar plexus chakra could help you release this attachment to someone that you're feeling not so that great about anyway. And I was kind of picking that up with the 2 of clubs, because 2 of clubs can come up when someone's like kind of been in a few relationships and some are not like the best for them, basically. So there could be a relationship that you guys need to release, that in order, when you release this relationship, this new love can kind of come into your life. So keep that in mind. Another thing that's coming through for some of you is that this person could be a healer for someone that you had in your life that was like a puppeteer, or you were a puppet to them, kind of is the vibe. Or maybe this person is someone, like, for example, if you guys tend to play the puppeteer in your life, kind of manipulating things from behind the scenes or something like that, this person might stand up to you in a way that like challenges you, but at the same time excites you, like we see here with the Knight of Wands. So this person could challenge you and excite you and kind of give you the vibe of like, oh, you know, like, you can't control me kind of vibe. And so I think that kind of makes you feel better about that, like you're not going to unconsciously accidentally start to like, you know, manipulate them, you know, if that makes sense. Because I see that one thing that you guys don't manipulate people on purpose is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. It's almost the vibe of like, people just kind of listen to you and they kind of follow what you say and what you do. And so the thing that I'm seeing here is this person might like rebel against you a little bit, but in a way where they're showing like they still care and they want to be with you, but they're like, I'm going to do my own thing. It's kind of the vibe. And so it's like, oh, finally someone who wants to have their freedom is going to be with me. It's like so great. You know, I see that kind of for a lot of you. For those of you who you are the puppet and you are in a situation where someone else is manipulating you, that's also a possibility. This is just saying that you guys are probably building up a little bit of resentment towards this. And when you meet this person, they're going to be able to sympathize with you. They're also still going to be pretty independent. They're going to kind of have their own vibe and do their own thing in life, but they're going to also want to give you your freedom, right? There's a lot of independence in this connection with this person. And I feel like there's a sense of kind of wanting to be like free entities as of yourself. There's a lot of autonomy. So I feel like for some of you too, like maybe you were in codependent relationships in the past and there was a lot of push-pull dynamics of like, you know, if you don't love me or if you love me, you do this for me or something like that. This person's going to be very independent from you in that way. But also, it's like, how do I put this? It's like two people who love themselves totally, and then they can be together and love each other without wanting to control the other one. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting for this group. So you might meet this person, like initially, like this person might like excite you because they rebel against something that you say or do, and you're like, whoa, normally people just do that when I say that, but this person's rebelling. Interesting. That's kind of, first of all, I see it's very arousing for you guys with the Mars energy here. And second off, I see that you appreciate their independence and their willingness, their unwillingness, or what am I trying to say? The fact that they just don't want to be controlled, you just really appreciate that. Okay, so I'm going to end the reading there. Man, this is a really fun reading. I'm really happy for you guys. You're really getting that relationship that's going to like awaken the truth in you is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. With the World card here, this is like completion vibes. This is like end of the line. This is the completion card of the major arcana. This means this is great big love. This is someone coming in that you really are going to fall for hard. This is someone that really you deserve. And it's kind of, I'm getting a little emotional when I say the word deserve, because I feel like you guys don't like to use that word in your vocabulary. It's like you don't like to say, oh, I deserve this or I deserve that. You feel like you're almost unworthy of like that word in a sense. And so I just want to tell you guys, you are worthy and you do deserve this love coming in. You've been through a lot. You've learned a lot with this kind of Two of Clubs card here about relationships. That strength is coming in for you with this relationship. So you have the ability to kind of like stand tall within yourself and for yourself. So yeah, what a great reading. Thank you guys for letting me read for you. If you enjoyed this reading, please like or comment below. If you really enjoyed this reading and you resonated with my energy, please feel free to subscribe to the channel. We're always welcoming new subscribers here at Cody Tarot. And with that said, we're gonna move on to group 2 with the green jade. Thank you guys again so much for watching. Hey group 2, this is if you picked the green jade here. So such a cool stone. Green jade is typically all about fortune and money and all that good stuff. So let's get into your reading and see if that's coming or if it's going to be something else, something you don't see coming. Group 2, what does group 2 not see coming? That is coming. Let's see, and our Wisdom of the Oracle card is a Grand Symphony. And I also want to draw some tarot cards. Oh, we have the Empress wants to come out right away, paired with the Three of Swords. And let's see what other cards want to come out for this reading. We have the Two of Swords. And I'm going to draw the other two. Seven of Swords and Page of Pentacles. That there. We can also roll the Astro Dice and get a playing card for you guys. We have the 10th house. Wow. Virgo. Oh, wow. See, the last group got Virgo and the 10th house as well. I totally realized I did not do timing for group 1. I came here in this reading with the intention to do some things about timing of when this is going to come in. I think that like Virgo season is important. And if you are with someone who watched group 1 and you're group 2 and you're like watching with a friend or something, Virgo season would probably be important to them as well. So let's get on with the reading. I got the playing card here. Get a playing card for group 2. We have the Four of Clubs. Wow, okay. So let's get into your guys' reading. We have a few things here. So first we have a grand symphony. This is just indicating that what's coming for you in the most like basic sense is like with the grand symphony here, I'm really thinking music, like taking this card very literally. I am feeling that like music for you guys is going to become really important coming up soon. And with Virgo season here, it could be music is going to build in importance until we get to Virgo season. And once you hit Virgo season, it's going to be it's going to like manifest as like a big thing for you guys. In general, what you don't see coming, Virgo season aside, because I typically don't read timing in tarot, but I did want to include it in this reading. I wanted to like test it out and try it out. But with the Grand Symphony, this is basically just saying music's going to have an increasingly grand importance in your life. So you might have realized recently that like music has been just like kind of playing around in the back of your head as something that either maybe you guys want to be musicians is kind of the vibe that I'm getting to. It's like maybe you want to be musicians, maybe you want to make music, but even if you're just an appreciator of music and you just enjoy music, I am saying music becomes a greater and greater importance in your life. And with the Four of Clubs here, it also indicates stability in your life. The Four of Clubs is the playing card of stability. So, and kind of mental peace, mental relaxation, where your head's not tied up in knots or you're not thinking too much or overthinking or analyzing. It's like you have clarity of the mind is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. And so I see a lot of you with this Grand Symphony card, music, and kind of, how do I put this? This is also going to like, eventually this is going to build into groups of people for you guys is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. But basically what I'm seeing is that with the Grand Symphony here, music is going to assume increasing importance in your life. With the 27 above the Grand Symphony, I am seeing music and musical environments are going to help you let go of things that you've been holding on to as well. It's like you'll find messages in the songs and it's like music is speaking to you about like messages that you need to hear or things that your mind is going through or thinking about. And it's going to provide a nice relaxing message for your brain space, basically. One thing that I am seeing that you don't see coming that is kind of interesting is I see either one or two important relationships falling away. And the thing is, they might feel important now, but when they fall away, they won't feel that important then. That's the best way I can put it. So I would say don't stress about it. It's like, this is card, like when I deliver news that's kind of like this, that might be more on the more negative side, right? I want to stress and like clarify that like this important relationship is someone in your life that like, how do I put this? At the time, it will feel right that it falls away. It will make sense that this person's leaving. It's not like it's going to be a disaster, you know? This card kind of seems pretty ominous, but if you kind of like, I've been recently focusing more on the sword cards in tarot and what those cards mean. And they usually mean like challenges for that particular number. So threes are typically like groups of people. Like if you see in the Three of Pentacles, there's like three guys working on a project. And if you see in the Three of Cups, there's three friends all celebrating. Well, the Three of Swords indicates like a relationship falling away. To sometimes like it like indicates like heartbreak, right? Like, oh, heartbreak. And so when you have a heartbreak, that's a breakup or a relationship where someone breaks your heart, that kind of vibe. But the way I kind of see it is these Three of Swords just indicate that this heart, it's kind of like cutting ties to what your heart is bound to. There's a really good example of this in the Light Seers Tarot deck where there's a woman and she's tied by this string that's attached to this giant heart. And so it's kind of basically saying like, it's time to cut ties, you know? The water and the rain in the background, I always think of like a cup emptying or someone pouring out a cup. So kind of the vibe of like a relationship fading away or falling away is kind of the vibe that I'm getting with this card. And because it's an important relationship, I would say don't sweat it. Like whatever relationship this is, and that's the thing about relationships. Sometimes they come into our life, they're meant for us for a time being, and they're meant to be really important. They're meant to be very significant. And this probably was a significant relationship. In fact, I'm seeing for most of you it is. but this person is meant to fade away. Now, don't be worried if you're like married to someone or something like that. I feel like if you're married and you're in a secure partnership like that, this is someone who's going to stay for a while. This is just indicating some one or two important relationships falling away that have kind of outlived their usefulness in your life is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. There might be something of like setting someone free or letting someone go or cutting ties is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. But anyway, this is basically leading to, with the Empress card here and the Venus symbol and the Venus symbol over here, a whole lot of self-love, a whole lot of loving yourself. And also I'm seeing for a lot of you, this could also be getting yourself in shape, like going to the gym, making sure you're taking care of yourself, a lot of self-care, a lot of routine. This could also be like buying nice clothes for yourself. The Empress is kind of someone who like I see as like living in luxury, you know, like she's in this like golden wheat field where she has like plenty of crops to like harvest as much bread and grain as she wants. There's an abundant river flowing behind her, just like making these lush green trees. Okay. Yeah. Lush green cheese. I'm sure that's what you guys want coming in your future. Anyway, so with the, green trees in the background, it's like there's lots of growth here, right? There's lots of growth, there's lots of abundance. She has a manifestation wand in her arm, so she can really control what she gets for herself, and it's all through the act of self-love. So I do see that kind of self-love coming towards you guys where you really truly respect and value yourself. But also I'm seeing this mainly on like the physical level, like you guys going through some kind of glow up. Are you just looking more attractive to other people? Other people might find you a little bit more charismatic than you normally are. One thing that I am seeing with the Seven of Swords, this might cause you to want to hide a little bit from people. It's almost like you guys, it's like if you ever go through a glow up, it's like you get the attention, but then it's almost like, oh, I don't want the attention. You know, it's like, I can get this vibe of you guys where you're kind of like shy on one hand, but then at the same time, like you want to flaunt it on the other hand, you know? So you probably don't like people staring at you, but at the same time, you probably are like happy about it too. I kind of get this like double-edged vibe. And it's kind of represented here with the Two of Swords pointing in these two different directions, right? Right next to these two cards, kind of getting that vibe. Yeah, with the Virgo card here, this is what it's making me think of health, because Virgo rules the 6th house, and that's just what's coming through in this particular reading, that health and organization and routines and stuff like that is going to be beneficial for you guys. And I really do feel like some kind of like maybe even routine with music, like maybe you take a certain time out in the evening to listen to a particular song or DJ or something like that, or musician or band or group, and you listen to them and you specifically like, maybe I'm seeing like journaling, which is random because I don't see anything in the cards about that here, but I'm seeing like journaling for a lot of you where you're like listening to music and you're like writing in a journal to the music that's playing. Like it's helping you release some feelings that are like bottled up or something like that. The other thing that I'm seeing is this kind of like glow up also with the 10th house here. 10th house can represent your reputation. So I am seeing this glow up affects not only your physical looks, but there's also a career, could be a career change on the horizon. Page of Pentacles is the beginning stage of learning about a new practical aspect, because we have the Pentacles, which is all about practical, and we have the Page of Pentacles, who is this young man who is like looking at something with admiration. It's like the beginning of a project. It's like when you have that enthusiasm to start something brand new. And I see that there's a lot of potential in this project. I'm kind of getting this vibe that you guys see a lot of potential in this project. You feel like this is something that could really go somewhere and you could really make a lot of money off of it. Now, the thing is, I'm not seeing any kind of like King of Pentacles cards or Queen of Pentacles or even Knight of Pentacles, which would indicate that you're already in the process of doing some kind of project. This is going to be a brand new project, and it's going to be like a welcome relief, I feel, for a lot of you. But this is all very much centering around self-love and taking care of yourself. And mental stability, keeping your head clear and mind clear. And it's almost like this is stuff that like sometimes in tarot readings we think like, oh, we have to like make this happen. This is stuff that I see kind of just coming for you guys, you know? I do feel like music is your friend. So if you do feel like a calling to listen to music, or even if you need to escape something in your reality at the given moment, like maybe you need to get out of the conversation real quick and just go to your car and like listen to something that's like really soothing for you, or some kind of piece of music that's really soothing. I see that really helping you guys. But yeah, let's continue on with the reading. I am seeing with the Two of Swords here, if there's any period of moment of like indecision or kind of like debating whether you want to kind of like increase your self-love or like hide away from the world, I'm also seeing this Seven of Swords as like an escapist kind of vibe. Like he's kind of escaping away from the camp with like the swords. I'm seeing that there's an element of like trying to face the truth here, and the truth not necessarily being something like really crazy harsh statement or something like that you have to face. But I am seeing something about like the truth being almost like your intuition kind of nudging you in a direction or providing you the clear answer or insight. And this is not necessarily like, how do I put this? This is not necessarily guidance intuition, is what I'm saying. Like, it's kind of the type of intuition where it's showing you the truth of a situation. It's like showing you clearly what is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. And so something that I'm seeing for you guys is if you tune into your deeper self, you'll get really amazing insights on like what is something? What is this about? Who is this person? What are their qualities? What do they possess? What's their inherent nature? I'm seeing that kind of coming through, but it's coming through in a weird way. It's like if you choose not to like hide from yourself, you'll be able to see the truth in yourself, and therefore, because that amplifies into your environment, you'll be able to see the truth in your environment. Another reason why I think journaling could be important, I think you could unlock some powerful intuitive abilities just through like automatic writing, like kind of writing without kind of like conscious thought or something like that. Like when you're listening to like a particular song, you could also get messages about like music itself, which this is going to be like very specific for some of you. But if you're like if you like study or you critique music or like you study music for your job, like journaling while you're like automatic writing, while you're like listening to songs, you could get intuitive hits about what that song represents or what its interpretation means or something like that. So I see you guys really like music becomes a real passion for you is kind of what I'm seeing. Another interpretation of this card, Grand Symphony, means groups of people. It means lots of groups of people and also crowds. Like, so I am seeing that this Seven of Swords kind of indicates like hiding from groups, but at the same time, you're also being called into group situations. It's almost like you'll want to feel like hiding, but what you don't see coming is that there's a lot of group situations that are going to bring you a lot of positivity in this next upcoming chapter of your life. So with this mental stability, which kind of centers around all of this, it's like this clarity of mind, this peace of mind, this fact that you think clearly, it kind of triggers all these things coming into your life. Lots of self-love with the double Venus indication here. That's just double confirmation about self-love here. Also, another thing that's coming through is with Venus in the 10th house, loving your career. And I think that's what creates this new like visionary path for you in the career department or in the practical realm area. You know, this new practical project coming through that's like rooted in like grounded in the earth, basically. It's like with the Empress, it's almost like through like tuning into yourself, through experiencing yourself, getting messages from music, listening to what you truly enjoy, being true to yourself and letting yourself kind of explore what that's like in groups of people. I am seeing this whole vibe of like really discovering some kind of like really cool career or like career advancement opportunity or something like that is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. Let me see if I see anything else. I want to, just because this career is showing up, I want to grab my career deck and pull some career cards. This is not going to apply to everyone, but I want to pull some just in case it sparks some kind of like moment in you guys watching this. If like this is a career that like for you watching, I know this is a general reading, so it's going to like there's going to be a lot of different careers this could be, but I want to get some like cards out just to see what, if anything, this career could be. Or if it's something you guys are thinking about, this would just be like extra confirmation. So I have my career deck. Okay, one that just came out really quickly. Wow, okay. So one that came out that was like right on the top was Entertainer. We have Entertainer here. I'm just gonna put these on top of these cards, okay guys? Entertainer, and we also have Be a Sport. So something in like athletics could be important to some of you, and for others of you, entertainment. So I'm getting strong Leo energy is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. Like maybe your guys' career has something to do with your Leo placements in your astrology chart. I'm going to draw some cards too and see. I'm just going to draw two more to see voice. Okay, for some of you, this music thing, it goes beyond it goes beyond just music. This is something that you're called to being asked to sing, or you're asked to being able to express yourself vocally. That's something that's coming through for a lot of you. You're being called to like use your voice to entertain others, and listening to music. We also have media and networker. So yeah, there's something in the entertainment industry in general that I'm seeing for a lot of people in this group. Something about performance and kind of being, honestly, I see fame for a lot of you guys. This is kind of the vibe that I'm getting, that I see fame, but I see that like with the Seven of Swords here, there's a little bit of shyness that you have to get over to achieve this kind of fame that you're seeking. But a lot of self-love, self-care, taking care of yourself, making sure your needs are met, that's all going to contribute to like being in this new kind of career that you're going for. It's gonna like really like make you feel activated and like you can actually do it. This could be a dream that you've had for a long time, but you're finally feeling like you have a clear head and like everything's going right in your life. And so you decide to take up this new career, like start practicing it or something like that. So a lot of you with voice, this could have something to do with your voice, your vocals. I don't know, possibly maybe you guys are like a Taurus or a Gemini or something like that. Or you have placements that deal with your voice in that way. With Be a Sport, it's interesting. With the Empress, when I was kind of seeing that as exercising or taking care of your physical body, with Be a Sport, maybe like competitive team sports could be beneficial for like exercise, like joining, like a touch football or flag football or something like that. Group. I'm just saying that because the football players, it could really be anything. Maybe you join like a swim group and you guys swim laps or something like that. Or maybe you join like a soccer club and you guys kick around a soccer ball, and that's kind of like the vibe. Maybe some kind of like amateur sports event for those of you who are not athletic. And for those of you who are athletic, maybe this is like a sign that like maybe you're meant to be in more sports, or maybe you're meant to be the leader of a sports team or something like that. With Networker also, it's interesting. I see the beginning of your career here with Page of Pentacles could be something in networking, is kind of the vibe that I'm getting, where you have to meet a lot of people. You have to meet different people. And I see that you're finally in the headspace to like do that, to put yourself out there, is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. I feel like with the Virgo card here, at this what you don't see coming really is that you're going to have your life pretty well organized. You're going to be taking care of yourself. Music is going to be guiding you more than you know. It's going to be a very big, important thing in your life. And also, I feel like not only is it guiding you, but you might do something in your career with music, possibly. If not music, it's going to be something in media, something in entertainment, something with your voice, and you're going to be somewhat of a networker, basically. Wow, very cool. Yeah, you have big things coming for your career and reputation in the future, so get ready for that. Self-love is the key to activating all of this. It's going to put you in the right mind space for all of this. Very cool. I'm going to end the reading there. I really enjoyed reading for you guys. If you like this reading, please like or comment below. If you really enjoyed this reading and you resonated with my energy, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I post pick a cards like this once every 1 to 2 weeks. And with that said, we're going to move on to group 3 with the Silver Moonstone. Thank you guys again so much for watching. Hey group 3, this is if you picked the Silver Moonstone, so pretty cool stone. I'm glad I snagged this. It was in a whole bunch of like other moonstones, and moonstones can come in different colors, but this silver one was just like amazing. Like I was just so happy I found it. Anyway, so let's get into your reading. I'm going to start the reading with a Oracle of the Seven Energies card. This might be my last group for this reading. I wanted to do 4 groups, but I might have to stop after this group because my energy is waning, and I want to give you guys my best self in these readings. Okay, let's see. Let's see what card comes out for you guys. We have, 2 wanted to come out. We have Beyond the Ordinary, and we have Awakening Genius. Oh, very cool. Okay, let's see what cards are coming out of the tarot deck for group 3. Let's see what cards want to come out for group 3. for the group with the silver moonstone. Okay, we have, I'm going to keep this card over here. We have 2 of Pentacles. And we're going to draw 2 here, and I want to take from the bottom-ish of the deck and draw 2 more for right here. Okay, gonna roll the Astro dice. So we have Scorpio, 3rd house, and Mercury. Man, I'm already getting messages about this reading, but like, part of me is like, don't say anything until you see the whole spread, because I want to like make sure I get like the specifics of it, you know? Let's see what playing card needs to come out. 8 of diamonds. Okay. And let's flip over your cards. You have the Ace of Wands, you have the Judgment card, you have the Devil card, and you have the 7 of Wands. Okay, let's get into your reading. So there are a few things that I am seeing here. Some cards are confusing me a little bit, but I think if I just get into the reading, it's gonna help me like process this better. So let's start with your playing card. With 8 of diamonds, I see that a lot of abundance is coming to you. An 8 is a number of abundance, and diamonds is the suit of abundance. So it's just kind of like double this influence of abundance. I see that you guys, something you don't see coming is that you're going to be making a lot of money. And this money could come from various different avenues. Like I see here with the 2 of Pentacles, it could come from numerous different revenue sources or different opportunities or different job places you have. There could be a lot of different ways of earning money is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. Mainly though, how you earn this money is kind of coming through. With the Ace of Wands, I feel like you guys don't realize this, but you're going to be gaining a lot of motivation coming up soon. The universe is going to be pushing motivation into your body. So Wands represents like fire, our impulses, our almost like our willpower, and at the same time our intuition. It's like what we're driven to do, what we're drawn to, what we're attracted to. So Ace of Wands here is what the universe is kind of pushing this kind of energy into you. With Beyond the Ordinary, I feel like you guys are a bit different, especially we see this again here with the 7 of Wands. And that's something that's going to be coming into view a little bit. Something you don't see coming is that you're very different than the average person. And you may already know this a little bit, but you might not understand the full effect of it. It's like, you know, on one level that maybe you don't click with society, or maybe you don't really get along with people in a certain way, or maybe you're just always off, like maybe your rhythm is always one step off of someone else's or something like that. There's some kind of vibe where you feel like something is off. And what I'm seeing coming through is this really big clarity and awakening that you are beyond the ordinary. Like people who are ordinary and basic, you're like not on their level. It's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. And I'm seeing that with the 7 of Wands here, it has caused you a little bit of stress and tension, but it's like what you're not seeing is that it's not just that, how do I put this? It's not that you're just different in a way that makes it that you don't fit in, or there's like friction between you and others, or there's just something always off between your connections with groups of people or something like that. There is that vibe, and that is a side effect of what's to come. But you're really going to be understanding why you're unique, why you're different, why you're an individual, what your reason is, what the purpose is on this planet. Like this woman is kind of giving me like starseed vibes, you know, like this woman is giving me the vibe of like someone who is kind of like awakened in their own powerful energy, and knowing that they are, even though they are different from others, they're still like a powerful being that can communicate with others effectively. We see this again here with the Judgment card. Something you guys don't see coming is you guys discovering your ability to awaken large groups of people. It's almost like you have this ability to get people to wake up out of their slumber. It's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. Another thing that I'm getting here too, with like Judgment and the Devil paired next to each other, with the Devil having these two people chained together and kind of ruling over them and above them and keeping them suppressed and down, like downward, and this Judgment card summoning these people up, like their arms are all outstretched and open. And I feel like one thing that you're going to be coming into awareness of is your ability to get people out of negative situations and into the light. It's like with this Awakening Genius card, I feel like you're awakening other people's intelligence is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. So it's almost like you have the key to unlocking the wisdom of others. It's like you are going to have the ability to unlock intuition in others is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. And it's going to bring you a lot of money is kind of what I'm seeing. With the Scorpio card here, this could indicate like that you're really digging into the depths of your feeling when this awakening comes and really understanding yourself and figuring yourself out through that. Another thing that I see here with the third house here is that communication is going to be very important for your journey forth, basically into this this amount of money. For a lot of you, this is something that you're already in. This is something that you're already doing. This is something that you're already a part of. This is a job that you've already begun. But the thing is like you haven't really awakened your own genius, and you haven't really awakened beyond the ordinary. Just shows that you haven't really figured out why you're different from others. That's kind of the vibe that I'm seeing. It's like, you know, you're different, but you haven't figured out why you're different. And so the main thing coming in is the idea or knowing why you're different. It's like you're finally going to be able to understand what your purpose is and how you fit in through the fact that you don't fit in, if that makes sense. Like there's a reason you don't fit in, and in a weird way, that's why you fit in, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like interesting. It's like digging in and accepting the fact that you don't fit in actually makes you fit in more, in a sense. But mainly the thing is that you're meant to be a leader is kind of the vibe that I'm getting with Judgment, specifically like an angelic leader kind of is the vibe that I'm getting. Like you guys have this aura of like like you yourselves are probably very angelic, or you probably have this aura of like helpfulness towards others, or you have this ability to kind of like be in the right place at the right time, to be in that place for someone where if they're going through a hard time, you're right there with them in that moment, and you're there at the right time to kind of awaken them from their kind of confines, essentially. Yeah, I'm seeing confines here with the Devil, and it's interesting because I see with you guys specifically, the Devil or the shadow attributes of life are always going to be next to you, if that makes sense, because you're such a force for good. That's kind of the vibe that I'm seeing. It's like sometimes these dark forces in the universe are kind of attracted to lighter beings, if that makes sense. And that's not always the case, but the way I'm seeing it is that your guys are just you're going to have like a vibe where you're, on one hand, you're going to know your message and what you're called to do and what you're doing for others. And then on the other hand, you're going to have your shadows and kind of the part of you that kind of grounds you. But the more you free yourself from your own shadows, the more you're going to be able to free other people from their shadows. Yeah, but mainly, this is just like what I'm talking about with the shadows and freeing people and stuff like that and getting into your uniqueness. That's all kind of stuff that's coming for you, but it's all stuff that's leading to this mass amount of wealth gain, which is crazy. It's like with the Eight of Diamonds here, this talks about money that could either be, that could come from many different sources. So for example, you guys could either borrow the money and you somehow borrow it through this kind of method, or you like inherit the money, or you gain the money or something like that. But there's something about strong, heavy abundance coming into your life. I'm mainly saying with the Two of Pentacles that you guys are going to be, once you really delve into your uniqueness and figure out why you're different from others, it's really going to set this busyness in motion. I feel like you're really going to be engaging in the world or in your business. And I see that you might have 2 or 3 different business things that you're juggling all at once. And the interesting thing about this is it's actually keeping you more busy in these realms, so you don't really drop the ball. It's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. It's like because you have multiple projects, it's like it's almost like you guys work better in that way. It's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. Yeah, and the thing that's coming towards you that you don't see coming is like you're not going to realize it, but the people that you communicate with, you are awakening them. You are the spark that's awakening their being into a higher, more spiritual existence. For a lot of you with awakening genius here, you guys could be teachers, you could be educators, you could be people who work in school districts, or you could work in within colleges or something like that as someone who is imparting knowledge. And mainly with awakening genius, I do see this kind of teacher vibe with all of you guys, especially because you're not only like awakening other people's like intelligence or teaching them things, you're actually awakening the way they think. People are gonna think differently because you're around them. And that's because you're so unique and different. Your thought patterns are so unique and different. And it's like you're kind of the originator is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. And so other people, their thought patterns like start to change and morph and develop based on how you are thinking and how your mind works and how your mind operates. So it's like you have this way of awakening others through your own sense of genius is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. And you guys are going to kind of realize a lot of this. I mean, you're probably realizing some of it in this reading, but I think it's going to hit you more heavily. Like there's going to be a more impactful moment in your future with Beyond the Ordinary. We're going to realize you're almost not from this planet, or like you're not from this place. You're not from this plane. I am feeling starseed vibes. So if you guys resonate with that, take that if it resonates. But there's just something very unique and different about you. And you're going to realize why that is, or like what the purpose of that is, or why that is. With Mercury here, with Mercury, I see like communication. With third house, this just triples the influence of communication, right? Communicating and being able to share ideas. I think Gemini rules the third house. So one thing that I'm seeing is like communication is really important. The way you communicate your ideas and speaking. I feel like a lot of you, if you haven't already, I feel like this is really gonna take off in the future. This whole whatever you're doing, whatever you're teaching people, however you're expressing yourself, however you're awakening others, because judgment indicates an awakening, and we have awakening genius. So judgment indicates like people waking up out of their slumber, ready to emerge into heaven, right? They've been dead for so long, and they're like this angel's trumpeting them to the sky, you know? So I definitely see one of the things that I'm seeing with judgment is this like sense of awakening, right? You're really passing on true genuine judgment to others, or you're kind of awakening other people's sense of good judgment. And it's kind of interesting because I feel like darker forces in the universe are kind of really not liking this about what your mission is. You know, they're kind of like they don't really approve, you know, because they want to keep everyone on lower levels of thought. And so this is just kind of, and if you don't believe in anything like that, because not everyone does, if you don't believe in like darker forces in the universe, you can just think of this as like basic kind of like things in your life that are kind of weighing you down, whether that's a bad habit, a bad relationship, bad negative thoughts. So all of these things you can free yourself from. And in a way, you're going to be freeing yourself from a lot of these negative, forces, right? I don't know if you guys believe in that or not, but, yeah, with the Devil card here, I am seeing that just practicing more positive thinking or quitting that substance use issue or something like that. Whether it's like, maybe you like vape a lot, or maybe you drink too much or something like that, or maybe you just overeat, but like working on those issues and kind of getting yourself away from the hold that they have on you, or maybe a negative relationship. Maybe you guys are in a pretty bad relationship that's kind of, could even be borderline abusive or something like that. Getting out of that kind of relationship, or getting out of that situation and elevating yourself to a higher state of like being, basically. Yeah, anyway, I see a lot of this coming for you. And the thing is, what's interesting, here's the cool thing about tarot, is that even though this is stuff that like I'm saying this to you right now and you're like, oh man, I don't think I can leave this person. I mean, I love them, but they're so bad for me. Or, you know what, I don't think I can quit this substance, or I don't think I can do that, or I don't think I can change my negative thoughts. It's like my negative thoughts are like who I am, It's interesting because a lot of this, you guys leaving behind this, is what's triggering your awakening, if that makes sense. So the kind of vibe that I'm getting here is that because it's what you don't see coming, that's the whole catch-22, right? It's like you don't see it coming because you think you're going to be trapped on this lower level of thought, or you're trapped on these lower levels of thought. But what you don't see coming is that you do get out of it. It's like you do get out of this negative way of being, or you do escape this kind of force, because it's your destiny to escape it and then lead people out of it. Like you help to lead people out of it is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. A lot of this too could be something along the lines of like, maybe you grew up and you were very uneducated, or maybe you kind of struggled in school and school didn't come easy to you and you had to really push through and ahead. And we have the third house here, so it could deal with early education, this pile, this group. But maybe you really struggled when in your younger years, you know? Honestly, like I have Saturn in the third house myself, so I understand this. Like school for me growing up was not a pretty picture. Like I got bullied, education was tough, you know, like I had to really struggle and work through my early education to get to the point, you know, where I am now. I really found myself when I started studying like my own subjects and kind of what I was interested in studying versus what, like, you know, the system wanted me to study, if that makes sense. That's how I kind of gained my intelligence. So maybe you guys are going through a similar journey. Maybe there's something about education or having to break through educational barriers to gain higher knowledge, or knowledge that is given. And that's kind of, the third house is kind of the opposite to the ninth house. And so this is kind of like showing you that there's kind of like knowledge coming to you from higher spiritual forces that you're meant to be learning and you're meant to grow towards, basically. So whether this is bad habits, you know, in these bad habits, like in the education department, it could be something like maybe you're just like, you want to be a better communicator, but you don't want to read books, or you don't want to download that language learning app or something like that. And so you're kind of, but maybe you want to live in another country or something like that, but you don't want to download the language learning app, or, you know, or you don't want to, like, you feel like you're bad at learning languages or something like that. So basically all this is saying is that you're removing yourself, the thing that's coming for you, because you're removing yourself from lower levels of thinking or lower levels of being, you're moving yourself into a more awakened state where you realize who you truly are, why you're different from others, and that gives you the power and the motivation to awaken other people's genius. You can even awaken other people's sense of self and originality within their own identities, basically. But with 8 of Diamonds, this is just indicating a lot of money is coming to you because of this journey that you're on. You guys are promised a lot of wealth, and I kind of see that in your future. And I do see when this wealth starts coming in, you're going to be very busy, very active. You're just going to have, and this is not really like the 10 of Wands, where it's about like how much work can I do and the endurance I can do. It's more about like the flow of money coming in and out. It's like you're going to have your resources, you're going to be like manipulating large sums of money, like going in and out, basically. So whether this is through investments, whether this is through just business opportunities or partnerships, this is going to be like manipulating large amounts of money is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. And remember, this is all like, it's a lot of it's tied to your ability to teach, your ability to communicate, very strong vibes of communication. For a lot of you might have Scorpio in the third house. That might be a placement for a lot of you. Maybe the thing is you communicate about occult topics or something like that. But whatever it is, you're really awakening others around you to higher levels of thought, higher levels of acting, higher levels of being. And remember, the universe is giving you the motivation to overcome these changes. It's coming. So whether you don't see it right now and you're just feeling like down in the dumps, or you're feeling like, how do I put this? If you're feeling like trapped on those lower levels of thinking, or you're stuck in this kind of thing where you're stuck somewhere, especially if you came to this reading and you're stuck somewhere, stuck on some kind of devil type energy with some kind of habit or addiction or something like that, what's coming is that you're getting over this, is kind of the vibe that I'm seeing. You're overcoming it is kind of the vibe that I'm seeing. And through this overcoming this and kind of like becoming more true to yourself, you see who you truly are. You see why you're meant to be here. And that's kind of how this whole thing gets set into motion. So I really enjoyed reading for you guys. Thank you for letting me read for you. If you enjoyed this reading, feel free to like or comment below. If you really enjoyed this reading, feel free to subscribe to my channel. We're always posting new pick a cards here about once or twice a week. Or not once or twice a week. Okay, once every 1 to 2 weeks. That's what I wanted to say. And with that said, we're going to move on to... Actually, I'm going to leave it at 3 piles today. So, because my energy's starting to get tired, so we're leaving it at 3 piles. But that was the last reading for today. So thank you guys for letting me read for you. I'll see you in the next pick a card. Bye.